Recently, I watched an amazing TED Talk about achieving your most ambitious goals. So I was thinking, how could it apply the lessons learned from the talk to musicians and composers? Here are some of my thoughts. Now, if you are training for the half marathon and you're someone who doesn't usually run, then you want to go for 1 kilometer, or you Americans 1 mile at a time, 2 miles at a time, and slowly build up. And then you can do your half marathon, right? Or marathon. Now, the same for video games. Like we always play level 1, level 2 progressively with small rewards that you succeed each level. And that's how you get to level 100. Now, if you start off with level 100, then it's going to be really discouraging because you find it really tough, you will give up. So you need to be rewarded for overcoming small challenges. You need to break down daunting challenges into smaller tasks, smaller challenges, and overcome them. How does it apply to musicians and composers? For example, you're playing Mozart flute concerto. You may want to group the similar issues together, similar problems that you have, like scales in thirds, double tonguing along the scales, and work on these groups of items together, work on similar items together, rather than tackling it linearly from the start to the end and doing it all and over again from the start to the end, from the start to the end. So that is why your instructor has always emphasized the importance of daily exercises. We always like to practice etudes, daily exercises for the flutes. That's why, because it applies to many of the pieces that you play. Even though some of us find it really boring, it is actually essential. So for musicians that have stage fright, I do, how can we overcome stage fright before performing live in a concert hall? Well, get your friends, get your family, listen to you, play in a living room, or you can have a YouTube live stream, which is amazing. Just have a premiere on YouTube Live, play it, or just get your recorder, record yourself, and pretend that someone is actually listening to you. That is one way to train with your stage fright. So you will be ready, achieving these smaller steps before you perform live on the actual day in a concert hall. Similarly, for composers, you could be writing for solo, duo, trio, before you tackle a wind symphony orchestra. You know, that's really important. Start as a solo, and typically an instrument that you yourself know very well, you yourself are proficient in. What about composition, writing? Well, we have to break down a large idea into smaller pieces, motifs, thematic groups, symbolic gestures. If you are writing a large work, how can we break it down, break the large work down into smaller pieces? Writing large ensembles, we all know that there's piano transcriptions. There are piano transcriptions of band works, orchestral works, but what about the reverse? So you can write a piano transcription first, if that's how you're going to approach it, a piano transcription, and then orchestrate it. That is one way of a smaller challenge to a larger work. But of course, a piano piece, the possibilities of a piano piece and the possibilities of orchestra are very different. But that would have simplified your workflow. Besides working on motifs and thematic groups first, you could also consider grouping contemporary extended techniques of instruments together. For example, key clicks of the flute group with violin tapping of the strings, the tongue ram of the flute with the percussion effects on the classical guitar. So there are ways to approach a daunting composition by thinking about the smaller blocks, the smaller building blocks. So this is an example of grouping extended techniques together, extended techniques of different instruments. Now, I hope this video gives you some ideas on how to approach a daunting task as a performer, as a composer. I would like to hear what you have to say. I'm very interested in your suggestions. So do write down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.